I recently went on a 3-month trip across Asia, and believe it or not, one of the highlights of my entire trip was my visit to Tokyo DisneySea. As a solo traveler, I got to experience every ride I wanted to, stress-free, no lines, got to take my time and really enjoy the beauty of this park. So in this video, I'm gonna go through the itinerary that I went through and a couple tweaks that I would have made if I were to go back and do it again to get the absolute most out of Tokyo DisneySea as a solo traveler. So to start things off, I actually wanna open with one thing that I would absolutely change if I were to go back and do it again in the sense of the rides. I actually didn't get to do Frozen Ever After. It was I thought going to be not as busy as some of the other rides. I was going to be able to buy it in a premier pass later in the day. Wasn't the case. So something I will say right off the hop, once you do get in the gates to enter the park, that is when you need to start booking your first premier pass, or if you're a solo traveler and you really just want to hit the heel toe express as fast as you can to the other end of the park to get on the Frozen ride, because it will sell out and you physically won't be able to do it later in the day other than sitting in line for like 3-4 hours and eating up pretty much the majority of your day at the park. So before I go through kind of my itinerary, a couple rules I think it's worth mentioning. You can't actually book any premier pass or reserved lines like fast, like lightning lane type things until you're physically inside the park. Even when I was at the gates out front, connected to the Wi-Fi from the park, you still have to buzz in like with your tap to pay basically to show that you're inside the park before you're able to reserve anything. So don't even bother. You have to be in the park before you can reserve. One other thing, some of these rides actually do have solo rider lines, so make sure you look up whichever one you're trying to decide which one to do. A lot of them do have solo rider lines that let you just skip everything without needing to do the premier pass. I did see some people doing this as a couple as well, so it might be worth considering if you are traveling with someone else. All right, first things first, it's actually getting to the park. So depending on where you're staying, I was in Shinjuku in downtown Tokyo. That's likely where you're coming from to get to Tokyo DisneySea. If you are staying on resort at one of the Disney properties, of course, this gets a lot easier, but a lot more expensive. You're essentially, depending on where you are in Tokyo, going to have to take a few different trains to get out to, I took the Chuo line and then the Keiryo line or something like that. Then you get to like Resort Station, and then you have to take the Disney train basically with all the Mickey Mouse ears along until you get to the actual entrance to Disneyland or DisneySea. For me, it took about 45 minutes to an hour to get there. Likely going to be pretty similar for you if you are somewhere in the city center of Tokyo. Also worth mentioning, as you get to the park, some people are going to have like the happy entry, which means you're staying on a Disney property. This is common in Orlando and Paris as well. If you're actually staying on a Disney resort, you do get earlier access to the park. It's kind of the incentive for people to stay on property. It is way more expensive to stay in some of these Disney properties, but you do get faster and earlier access to the park itself. So once you do arrive, you'll see the gates, and there's going to be thousands and thousands of people. I was there in the summer, so there's a lot of umbrellas, and it does look like mayhem, but the good news is you are in Japan, where people are very orderly. They know how to respect a line. You're generally not going to get cut, not going to get bumped, and it does move very quickly once the gates do open. So I arrived around 7:30 in the morning, the day of my park day, and I was within like 15 minutes of the park opening. I was inside. So it may look like a lot, but don't stress, you are going to get through. So once you actually get through the gate, you're going to walk past the big globe and the fountain and this big courtyard. And this is kind of where you have to make your decision about where you want to start your day. Do you want to try and kind of just, if you're physically able and you're quick on your feet, do you want to rip it to the other end of the park and try and rope drop Frozen as fast as you can? And then while you're in line for that, maybe looking at booking your first premier pass. Totally a good, valid idea. I made the mistake of going to Soarin' because I thought I was going to be able to make it to Frozen later in the day. And I thought, okay, Soarin's right here. I'll just rope drop it. Not the best idea. I sat in that queue, and I was, again, one of the first people in there in the first 15 minutes. That queue got so full so quickly. It said 30 minutes on the wait, and I stood there for 45 minutes and hadn't even moved yet. So I decided actually to dip out of that queue. And then while I was standing in the queue, that's when I started to look at my app and look at the Premier Pass, like one-time payments you're able to do that basically let you pay a set fee. At the time in Tokyo, at least, DisneySea was like $6 to $10 per ride to skip the line doing this Premier Pass. And they were also running an anniversary event, so definitely might be worth checking your app to see if there are any free passes you're able to use. But basically, when I was in the line for Soarin', I said, okay, this is not going to work. What else can I do? So I pulled it up and I saw that Journey to the Center of the Earth was pretty close to the Soarin' line, and I could get on in 20 minutes with a fast pass. It cost like $7. So I'm like, all right, you know what? Screw it. I'm not standing in this line for 45 minutes. Let's go try and do Journey to the Center of the Earth. So basically, once you leave that queue, you'll see the big Mount Prometheus that the lagoon or the lake kind of wraps around, and it's very aesthetic. It's very, very cool. I stopped and got a beer here because I had 25 minutes or so until my next ride, and I wanted to kind of take in the scenery and really get to appreciate the beauty of the park. I think when you're going with kids and families, it's really easy to just get caught up in rushing from ride to ride and overlooking the actual beauty of the design of the park. So this was kind of a really cool experience as a solo traveler to just sit there, have a beer, and just be completely unfazed about my rush. So I walked from this bar, Mount Prometheus. I kind of walked over to the 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea, like the Nautilus area there. There was a Nemo, I believe, like submarine ride. It wasn't open at the time that I was there. This may have changed in the future, of course. But it was just like a really cool nautical themed design. Obviously, a lot to do with 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. So picture that kind of like steampunk, grungy type of look and feel, but with like super modern technology. So as I made my way past that, I walked into where Journey to the Center of the Earth is, and it's like really cool. You actually kind of go into the heart of the volcano. I'm not going to spoil any of the rides of this video. That's not what the intention of this is. But as you get into it, it actually is really a unique experience. You get in this elevator that takes you down into the heart of the volcano, basically, and then you ride in these little carts as you're going. It was super, super cool. And then after that, I kind of hopped out, and you basically get out at the same place you came in, right at the heart of the volcano. And then I decided there's this really trendy Nautilus Galley, it's called, and they had this gyoza hot dog that I'm sure you've likely seen on TikTok or Instagram. Really popular, kind of trendy food. I wanted to go try that out, so I stopped at the Nautilus Galley, had a beer, had a gyoza dog. The drinks, they have this like frozen beer that's really popular as well that you can definitely check out. They have a rotating seasonal list of fruity kind of cocktails. I had some kind of pineapple thing. But again, it was just like a nice kind of break to do a ride, then go take a bit of a breather, find out what I wanted to do next, stop, and kind of just people watch and take in, again, the DisneySea aesthetic, as you will. The cool part about going solo as well is you get to kind of dictate what you want to do. If you're a thrill seeker, you can of course prioritize those rides. If you are like a really just like a Disney diehard and you want to see a lot of Mickey, you can focus on like the Little Mermaid and Peter Pan and things like that. It's really up to you what kind of day you want to have. My day was really just focused around relaxing, enjoying and walking around and exploring, not necessarily having a set path. With that being said, after the Nautilus Galley, I headed towards Mermaid Lagoon. That's like the Little Mermaid area. And there's actually a really cool part here of the characters like carved into the rocks. You can see like Elsa and Anna and Peter Pan, and it's actually like a really beautiful thing. And it was kind of sad. I saw people just rushing through there to get to the next ride and missing this like gorgeous design piece of the park that kind of gets overlooked. So, take your time as you're going through it. So Mermaid Lagoon is mostly, it's kind of like underneath this big dome to make it feel like you're indoors. There's a couple different rides in there, mostly aimed at kids. I rode the main aerial ride, just kind of, my niece is a huge Little Mermaid fan, excuse me. So I wanted to go check that out. It was really cool, and it's just really like, I think I would say more aesthetic and unique if you are like a Little Mermaid person or if you are like traveling with kids. For me, it wasn't the highlight of the park, but still, it's worth the ride. After that, I headed to the Lost River Delta, which is kind of over by the pyramid where Indiana Jones is. They have like a market for some food and drinks options there. Again, I kind of was looking at my next ride after The Little Mermaid, and I saw that Indiana Jones had a solo rider line. So I said, okay, I'm just gonna walk over there, get a beer. I just, again, sort of checked everything out, looked at the menu at the market, had a beer, took some pictures, and then I was like, okay, you know what, time to ride Indiana Jones. And they have a kind of a back entrance for a solo rider, walked right in. There was a couple people ahead of me going as like a couple. They may split you up, but it's really not too big of a deal. It's going to be dark and bumpy in there anyways. But yeah, it's really interesting. There's like a Yucatan base camp, and it's kind of like, I think, Mesoamerican theme is more or less the idea of this. So there's like a cookhouse, a cantina, that kind of thing. But yeah, really interesting place to get food. The ride itself was, I would say, like moderately thrilling or aggressive, I guess you could say, but super easy, super quick to get on as a solo rider, and I didn't have to use a Premier Pass. So after that, I headed actually through the Peter Pan and Elsa and Anna area. I had just seen those before. I didn't actually go through it. And that takes you into Fantasy Springs. And the idea with that is it's actually like a portal taking you into that world. And in Fantasy Springs, there's Peter Pan's Neverland. There's Frozen's Kingdom, like Anna's Kingdom. I forget the name of it. It's not Rivendell, definitely not. And then also Rapunzel's Forest is like the 3 different parts in here, and very aesthetic, very nice to look at. Absolutely. Peter Pan's Neverland is actually super, super cool. They have like a giant size Jolly Roger of Captain Hook's ship, Skull Rock. It feels like the Peter Pan movies, which were one of my favorite. Like Hook was one of my all-time movie favorites. It kind of felt like that world had come to life and you're walking onto it. Again, I stopped in front of one of the little carts in front of Rapunzel's ride, grabbed a beer and a water, and I just walked onto the Jolly Roger and sat there and pretended I was a ship's captain. And it was a really great way to just kind of kill 15-20 minutes while I waited for my next ride. But yeah, I couldn't recommend it enough. Just kind of like chilling in this area. This was probably my favorite part of the whole park, was Skull Rock and the Jolly Roger. After that, I did walk over to Frozen Kingdom because I did want to see what it was like aesthetically. Not really a lot going on here, honestly. There was like a photo op and a little bit of a market / restaurant for like Frozen type foods. I'm guessing like Scandinavian type dishes in there. And then the ride itself, the Frozen ride. I'm going to ride it in Paris in a few weeks here, so I'm excited for that. But I didn't get to do it here in Tokyo DisneySea. Highly recommended. The castle itself, really beautiful little area around here. There's restrooms as well, and then a place to grab more water, as I was getting extremely dehydrated in this part of the day. But I hadn't been here yet, so I did want to come check out this part of the park. After that, I did go over to Rapunzel's Forest, so for the lantern ride, which was super, super cool, and it's just genuinely like pretty heartfelt inside. And again, I'm not going to show really anything about the ride itself, as that's not the point of this video. But that was the route I took after that. Again, I did the Premier Pass for this, walked right in. It took me like maybe less than 5 minutes to get on the ride and then get on the boat and start going down through the river. It was beautiful. Definitely recommend right after that. And again, this area of Rapunzel and Frozen and Peter Pan, it's all kind of together, so it doesn't take long to walk between the 3 lands within Fantasy Springs. After that, I was trying to decide what I wanted to do for my next move. So I was kind of just exploring. I walked to the very back of the park, close to Fantasy Springs Hotel, and they have this massive like whirlpool with Mickey casting a spell in the middle of it, and it was pretty unique to see. There's not really a lot going on up here. Cinderella was doing a photo op, and they had more of the carvings and the rocks of some of Disney's biggest characters. But really, there wasn't a ton to see at the back of the park here, but it was a nice like breather. I got to sit down on a bench. I wasn't getting bumped by kids. I got to sit there, drink some water, check my phone, check my kind of like what my plan is for the rest of the day, and just take a bit of a break. So I would say this is a good rest stop if you do need some time just to catch your breath, as Disney can be a bit overwhelming, especially when there's this many people there. There is some really cool hotels back here that actually face onto the property. I think this is the Fantasy Springs Hotel. There's 2 different kind of wings to it, I believe. One was the Fantasy Chateau and then the Grand Chateau. I think that might be the Fantasy Chateau Hotel. I didn't stay at any of these, so it was just really what I was able to see from the outside. But these are pretty posh, like 5-star high-end hotels. You're like literally on the park resort, so you can just walk out your hotel room and go straight onto the park. And this was an extra entrance as well from the back. So I'm guessing that's where you would actually enter if you are staying on property from one of those resorts. It's super convenient. I checked online. Some of these rooms are like $1,500 to $2,000 a night to stay in. So a little bit out of my price range, but if that's something you can ball with, then good good for you. After that, I headed back to Peter Pan Land because I wanted to do the Peter Pan's Neverland Adventure. A little bit different of a ride actually than the one you may have seen in Orlando. It was really cool actually. You kind of walk through this jungle-esque vibe. It sort of felt like I was one of the lost boys kind of walking through the jungle on the way. It was really cool. And again, Premier Pass, I think it cost like $8. Skipped the whole line, walked to the very front, got right on. Super worth it. It's just so easy. And for the cost that I paid all day for all these fast passes, I can't imagine doing it any other way. After that, I walked towards kind of the Arabian coast, which is, no, I hadn't been there yet, but that's the last sort of part of the park that I hadn't got to. And there's, I think, one ride over here. I did Sinbad's storybook voyage, I guess it was called. And it was just a walk on. I walked by it. The lineup said 5 minutes, and I'm like, okay, let's just give it a go. I have nothing else to do. I had already booked my Premier Pass for Soarin' in like an hour from then, so I'm like, okay, well, I got time. Let's walk on and do Sinbad. Definitely a more child-oriented ride, but still, it was easy to see and cool to check out. And I hadn't been over to that side of the park yet. There was another restaurant over here as well. So honestly, a lot of sit-down restaurants here. I've been planning my trip to Disneyland Paris, and there hasn't been as many options as I look at where I want to eat and drink as I move around the park. So definitely something to keep in mind. The last thing I did is I walked over to the American waterfront, which I hadn't been here yet, and I went on to the SS Columbia, and they have apparently the best bar or cocktail bar of any of the Disney properties in the world. And this was the Teddy Roosevelt Lounge. You can look at pictures of it online. It is gorgeous, and it's a huge, long wooden bar with cocktail bartenders making all the classics as well as some reinvented ones, specifically around the Disney culture. And it was awesome. I got to sit inside, get some aircon, get a bit of a break from being outside and just getting cooked all day long. Over here as well is the Tower of Terror. I actually didn't do the Tower of Terror. I've done it like 3 or 4 times. I did the Avengers version too. I don't really like it that much personally, to each their own, but it is over there in that section of the park. There's also a few other restaurants. One was a converted fish market. I think it's into a buffet now. And then actually on the ship, the SS Columbia, it's like a parked voyage ship that never moves. There's a full restaurant in there too, like a sit-down proper restaurant. So if you are hungry and looking to find something, that's definitely a good place to look, is over on the American waterfront. One thing as well with the Teddy Roosevelt Lounge, I didn't have a reservation. I just walked up as a single person and got sat at the bar. I'm guessing if you were a bigger group or wanted to sit at one of the tables, you might need a reso, but for me, it was just super easy. It took like 5 minutes. They set me up. I had a couple drinks, and then I started making my way back to Soarin'. From there, I walked back around the lagoon to see like the real beauty and extravagance and the scale of this park. There's a lot of these little river boats that are winding in and through the park too that you can get on. I didn't get to do that, unfortunately. I basically kind of ran out of time near the end of the day. I walked back around the lagoon all the way to the beginning to Soarin'. I had done the Premier Pass again, so I got the line skip, walked right on, took like 10 minutes. It is identical Soarin' to the other ones around the world, so something to keep in mind. I thought it was maybe going to be a little bit different, but it wasn't, unfortunately. So it was still cool, of course, to see. I really liked that ride, but I was expecting like at least a little bit of a difference. After that, I walked back out of Soarin', and Soarin's like right at the entrance. Basically, it's the first ride I think you'll see. I walked down to the Mediterranean Harbor, there's a couple different hotels that look over the main park here. And then there's also just a bunch of little cafes that are right on the promenade that looks at Mount Prometheus. One of them was Cafe Portofino, which I had read online does like espresso martini type variants. And obviously at this time of the day, I was craving one. So I stopped there, got an espresso martini. And then right around this time is when they actually started, this was kind of getting to sunset, they started their fountain show. So basically right on the waterfront towards the promenade and the hotels there, they do a water show, classic Disney move. And I just sat there, had an espresso martini, watched the water show, completely unfazed. Again, like hopefully it's been noticeable throughout this day. I didn't run, I didn't stress, I was not cheesed at all. It was very, very easy to get around. And this was like a nice relaxing end of the day to have my final cocktail at Cafe Portofino. The last thing I did, of course, is walk back out, and it's cool to see the globe at a different light now after you've hopefully had a great day at the park. There's a few other cool places for photo ops here on the way out, which was a nice way to kind of cap off the day. But this was basically my itinerary. I did everything I wanted to, minus Frozen, at Tokyo DisneySea in a day just by using fast passes and solo lanes. And I never waited in a line. I was never stressed. I was never rushed. So this is like my recommendation for a solo traveler's itinerary for Tokyo DisneySea. So kind of to recap a couple things, if you do want to do the Frozen ride, either book it as a premier pass immediately as soon as you get in the park, or try and rope drop it and I guess like run for it as basically as fast as you can when you do get in the park at the beginning of the day. The other thing, like the premier passes, I can't believe more people weren't doing this. Like, it was, for the price of the ticket, I paid way less. Like, it's significantly cheaper than Orlando, for instance. And I was able to do every line I wanted, when I wanted, without a rush. I could just pick a time, basically like up to an hour in advance. I would do that ride, and then immediately I could book my next one. It was super straightforward and very easy. And then on top of that, taking advantage of the solo rider lanes, I was able to do everything in this park in one day without really missing anything, or, you know, like the time wasted in the soaring line, I basically could have done at Frozen. And then if I had done that, I would have done everything I wanted to at the park. Hopefully this video was useful. My itinerary for a solo traveler's guide to Tokyo DisneySea. If it was, feel free to leave a like or comment in the section below. Always helps the algorithm. As always, my name's Alex. Welcome back to Lifting Nomad. We'll see you in the next one. Peace.